Josh, again, you talk about progress against ISIS and being in the degrade phase. Did you see the briefing that the senior State Department official did yesterday on the situation in ISIS, where he described what happened in Ramadi with 30 vehicle bombs going off over the course of a couple of days? 10 of them, he said, that had the power equivalent to the Oklahoma City bombing, taking out entire blocks. That's what progress looks like? That's what degrading ISIS's capabilities looks like?
This is what
10 Oklahoma City bombings?
This is what a military conflict looks like, and this is what a very tenacious adversary looks like, and that's why the president and his team take so seriously this challenge. But ultimately, John, no matter how difficult this challenge is, this is not something that the United States is going to do for the Iraqi government, and we're certainly not going to do it for the Syrian government. There's going to be a responsibility of the Iraqi people and the Syrian people to take the fight on the ground for their country against ISIL.
But I'm just trying to get a sense of your assessment of this, not even before we get to what to do about it. I mean, you seem to be describing progress with some setbacks, and you don't want to light your hair on fire. And here you have a situation where the capital city of the largest province goes down, and we now have details of what would happen in that battle that describe incredible force by ISIS. Again, 10 Oklahoma City bombings over the course of less than 2 days does not sound like an organization that has been significantly degraded, especially when they're taking over a major capital city.
Well, John, the thing that
I'm just talking about your assessment. I mean, I think before you figure out what you're going to do about the problem, you have to have an accurate assessment of how bad the situation is.
There's no question that ISIL completing their takeover of Ramadi is a setback. We've been pretty candid about that for a week. But
a setback.
But what we're talking about is an organization that is seeking to project their power over a broader region, and they are not succeeding in projecting their power in Kobani and in many areas in northeast Syria. The area where they project their power is shrinking. That's also true in Tikrit. That's been true of 25% of the territory, populated territory, that ISIL previously controlled. That is an indication that we are making progress in spite of the setback in Ramadi.
Is there any consideration towards additional special forces in Iraq? I mean, again, you've described the options as either doing what you're doing now or sending 150,000 troops. There have been discussions of more assistance to the Iraqis, more trainers forward deployed to work with the Iraqi forces. Is it your assessment? Is it the administration's assessment that the Iraqi forces are in such bad shape that won't do any good?
Well, but no, John. Those are options to be considered, but that's materially different than a radical change in the strategy that some people are calling for. I think all of you, as independent observers of this process, if we were to send more military assistance to Iraqi security forces and to put more trainers in the region, I think you might even describe that as a doubling down in our strategy. Those are decisions that still need to be made in terms of what can we do.
So that's possible. That's something that's under consideration.
What's under consideration are how can we learn from the lessons where we have enjoyed success and made progress, and how can we apply those lessons into this area where we have experienced a setback. I guess this sort of, let me draw a connection between these dots a little bit more distinctly. The thing that places like Tikrit and Kobani have in common are they are areas where the United States and our coalition partners did have a close and effective working relationship with the fighters who were on the ground. That kind of relationship we haven't yet had with the Iraqi security forces that have been fighting ISIL in Ramadi for 18 months. And the question is there more that we can do to augment the forces that are currently in the region with forces that have recently been trained by the United States and our coalition partners? Are there others in the country that would join this fight if they were able to get more equipment and supplies from our coalition partners through the Iraqi government? And what we have said is that we support the efforts of the Iraqi central government to augment their presence in that region of the country, that we're prepared to support those forces that are operating under the command and control of the Iraqi central government. And again, that could be one way that we could apply the lessons learned from Kobani and Tikrit into this specific situation. But this is something that continues to be a matter of discussion by the President's National Security Team, and something that we continue to discuss with the Iraqi central government.